You are about to watch Pair of Geeks coverage of Fighting Fantasy Fest number 3, a convention that runs every couple of years in London. And it's all about the fighting fantasy game books. Now, we went down there and we spoke to a lot of people, and when we got home we discovered that our microphone cable was broken. So we got some sound. A lot of the audio you're going to hear is recovered from our backup microphone, which is not quite as good, but we've isolated it and recovered it and made it sound as good as we could. It's just not our usual quality, but it is still perfectly listenable. So I hope you enjoy the footage. Thank you.
Today is a very blustery day at the University of West London. Why are we here? Well, this is the third Fighting Fantasy Fest and the first one that I've actually turned up to, or been able to turn up to. So finally, I can actually go to this convention that I've been trying to get to for the past 5 years. And here's the awesome bag as well with the wheelies, which I've just picked up.
Okay, let's take a look through the trade wall. So, starting off first, on our left, we have, hello there, who are you? The Trolltooth Wars.
I'm PJ Montgomery. I wrote the graphic novel adaptation of the original Trolltooth Wars novel.
That's awesome. So, are you here selling this today, signing this?
Yes, both those things. Sell as many as I can because I like money.
I'm digging this. This is like, kind of reminds me of the old Asterisk comic.
Oh, that's really nice of you to say. Yeah, Gavin, who drew it, he adapted his style slightly, so he went more slightly towards traditional fantasy art, but also keeping it looking like a comic, because that was very important to us, that it did look like a comic and bring people into it that way. So I think Asterix is a good comparison to make. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Let's
move on to the next one. What we got over here? Hello, who are you?
John Green's son.
Jonathan Green, the world-famous fighting fantasy author, and we have an exclusive interview with his children. That'll probably get us into a lot of trouble, so let's move on. Thank you very much for your time. So, over here, let's go over here. Hello, who are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. So, who are you? What are you doing here today?
Oh, my name is Isabella. I'm selling the limited edition book, the new book by Ian Livingstone, and it's called Assassins of Alanzia.
You know your product very well,
Yes,
obviously.
I
Yes,
do,
yes.
I do.
Okay, so I have seen Ian around today.
Yes, he's giving a speech right now in this moment, and he's going to be doing a signing later, and that's why we're selling all these books right now.
Okay, and how's it been going today?
It's been going very well. There's a lot of very nice people, very interested people. They've all been buying all the limited edition books, so it's going great.
All right, thank you very much, Isabella. Oh. All right, so next up we have one of my favourite companies of all time, is Atlantis Miniatures with their fighting fantasy models.
Hello, hi, how are you?
Doing really well. So, I gather you're having a bit of a problem with stock. It's selling too fast.
Yes, they're just too good, and so they've nearly all sold out, which is wonderful, but we do have a Kickstarter for them, so if you don't manage to get the ones that you want, we can do a Kickstarter and you can get everything there, plus 10 extras.
That's awesome. So, all of the fighting fantasy models will be coming back into stock. And are we sculpting new ones? Is Dan getting his sculpting thing out?
He is getting his sculpting thing out, and he is going to make 10 new designs. This one here at the front as well is a new design by Dan, but there'll be 10 more as well that will be coming into production. And we'll be resculpting some of these a little bit, sort of tweaking how some of them look and how they sort of fit together to make them a little bit easier to put together and to clean up. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome collection of 32 miniatures in total.
And if I remember rightly, your Kickstarter is October 16th? Yeah. 16th, okay. And until then, this is all the stock that is left?
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's so...
So out of the 22 lines, there are 9 left. Yeah, so...
Okay, so check that out on October 16th. Let's move on to the next stand. Here we have Scriptarium. Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Fine. How about you? Yeah. So we're doing French stuff, like translating the roleplay book, Advanced Fighting Fantasy in French.
Okay, that's awesome. So everything you're selling here is in French?
Of course, and this is a co-work with the French editing house Gallimard. So we helped to correct some bugs in the translation in French of the English books, and we also added some stuff and explanation of the world of Titan in the books.
That's awesome. So there is a future for fighting fantasy after Brexit when this place goes to shit. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you're having a great show. So let's head on over to, we've done all there. Let's go here. Hi there. Oh, they're busy. Or are they? Spare a quick word. Who are you?
I'm a fighting fantasy collector, and I write a guide that catalogues all the books and collectibles and prices and valuates it. And these are all the books I've had for sale. Not much stock left today, so I'm doing well.
It's all been selling out too quickly for you, yeah?
Well, it's fine by me because it's all money. I've got to fund my trip somehow. Yeah.
Okay, so you are Jamie Fry then, and this is that right? Yeah.
That's my guide. Yeah, that's my guide that I write, and I only publish it for this type of event. Otherwise, it's a PDF online. So it's a special show edition.
Okay.
And it catalogues all the known books and all the versions and how much they are.
That's awesome. So, delving into the history of fighting fantasy, if you've got old books on your bookshelf and you want to know what they're worth, check out Jamie Fry's PDF guide. All right, hello there.
Yeah, come on, mate.
Hello, they're busy. We'll come over this way. Come along. Hi there. How are you? And who are you?
We are Chameleon Comics, and we are distributing a little promotional booklet for the upcoming graphic novel, City of Thieves, that we are working on with Ian Livingstone together with. And this is just a kind of a sort of an announcement, as well as tidbits about art samples and stuff like that, and social media links for the upcoming crowdfunding campaign that we're going to do probably in October, I should say.
Okay, so you are working with Ian on a crowdfunding campaign, because that's kind of big news.
He's kind of an executive producer on the project. So we're doing the crowdfunding campaign. He's kind of of course, the owner of the IP and the custodian of it. So he's sort of helping us with everything.
Okay, that's amazing. So, and you got something else here as well. What's this one?
Okay, so that's a bit of an interesting story. So this is the Hungarian edition of Freeway Fighter comic book, which was published originally by Titan Comics, but we are based in Hungary, and we sort of licensed the comic book to publish in Hungarian to the Hungarian comic book and fighting fantasy fans, and so they loved it. We just brought one to sort of put it out here and grab people.
That's awesome. And spreading fighting fantasy throughout the world. Now let's see if we can catch up with Arian. Oh!
Hi, Mum.
Now, looks like they're a little busy at the moment, so we'll come back to that stand in just a minute. Until then, let's have a little wander around here. And hi there. How are you?
Sorry?
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
And who are you?
I'm Daniel Sell.
Okay, so is your name on this book then?
Yes, I wrote it.
Awesome. And what is this book?
It is a science fantasy roleplay game based roughly on like 90s era Final Fantasy roleplay games.
Okay, and how's it been going today for you? Has the show been treating you well?
Yes, it's been okay. Had some people. They bought some things. Result.
That's awesome. Have a great show. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can sneak back around now to Arian Games. Hello, who are you, what are you, and how's your day going?
I'm Graham. I am Arian Games, effectively, and it's going very well. Very, 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 very busy. Sold lots and lots of books, running games, giving talks, yeah, and talk to people.
Okay, so tell us about your books. What do we have here for the uninitiated?
So, we've got Advanced Fighting Fantasy. So this is the Fighting Fantasy game books, the famous Fighting Fantasy game books, turned into a role-playing game, a full role-playing game. And it's a really simple role-playing game. I've known 7 and 8 year olds pick it up and run it for their friends without ever having played a role-playing game before. Probably one of the simplest games there is, but also suitable for years of play.
That's awesome, and you've got quite a lot of different modules here. So,
yep.
So if I was going to get into your system for the first time, presumably I start with this book here, Advanced Fighting Fantasy, the role-playing game.
That's the core rule book. That's got all the rules in. It's got a few monsters, it's got a bit of the setting, but that's really the rules. And then you can expand it. We've got books about the setting, we've got books with hundreds of monsters in, we've got books detailing adventures. We've got all sorts of extra stuff, but you don't need any of it. And that's one of the key things about Advanced Fighting Fantasy. You can play it with that book and that book alone.
That's awesome. And so, tell me about this, because I just noticed you have a picture of a spaceship on the front, and you don't normally see that with something that has fantasy in the name.
No, well, because it derives from the original Fighting Fantasy game books, there were a whole series of science fiction ones. But unlike the fantasy ones, which were all really on one world, Titan, one fantasy world, the science fiction ones ranged from Mad Max type of post-apocalypse all the way up to Star Trek type, with robot commandos and fighting dinosaurs and all sorts of other stuff. So we've also published Stellar Adventures, which is a science fiction version of Advanced Fighting Fantasy. And this is very much a toolkit game. You could easily do Star Wars with it, or Star Trek, or Aliens, or Warhammer 40,000, or just about any other sci-fi. And then we've got the Starship catalogue that you picked up with a load of starships in. We've got guns, armours, etc. We've got an adventure, and so on. But again, that's very much a toolkit game. You can do whatever you like with that.
Okay, now I noticed as I picked this one up, this is hardback. So are all the different books available in both soft and hardback, or just some?
Almost all of the newer ones are available as a hardback and soft cover. But unfortunately, I think we've sold out of the soft cover of that one. We've sold out of the soft cover of this one. But we've got both for these. And some of the older ones are only soft cover. But I'm hoping to get hard covers done at some point.
Okay. Well, this looks like a wonderful line, and I do love it when a line of books sort of maintains that consistent sort of design all the way through. So it really does make the collection look a bit special on the shelf. So
we also have a Japanese version.
Oh wow!
So this is that book in Japanese. Now I can't read it, so I can't read Japanese. But they've used the original art, the original rules. So that's my writing. That's my name. I just can't read it.
Not me either.
And they're very, very, very popular in Japan. They sell in huge numbers.
Yeah?
Yep.
Because Japan does actually kind of have its own role-playing games, really, doesn't it? They don't tend to be into D&D so much as other things.
But fighting fantasy has always been really big in Japan. So when Advanced Fighting Fantasy came out, they were really, really keen to translate it.
It's great to hear. Hi there, how are you doing? Who are you? And what are you doing here today?
I'm selling books.
Okay, that is the given thing, I suppose. So, I'm trying to see if I can sneakily read your name.
My name's Sam.
Okay, Sam. What are the books that you've written?
Okay, I've written Star Bastards and Sword of the Bastard Elf.
Okay.
This one was first and that one's second.
There is a substantial size difference, I noticed, between these two.
Yes, because this one took me like 3 months to write and that one took me 2 years.
Okay, so this is your work of passion then, it took obviously a very long time to create, and I see you've got it nicely illustrated too. Oh my god, the legend himself, the man who added Cthulhu to the Black Hack.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Lovely to see you again.
How's the show treating you?
It's treating me well, although I myself am a little bit ill at the moment. I will try not to spread anything to you as you back away. Now, I'm at the end of a week of having something that feels like a cough, cold type thing, but anyway, I'm fine otherwise.
Moving swiftly on, thank you. So, all rolled up are here. And I think she's a little tied up, and we're busy over there, so don't want to push into too many people. But let's have a stroll. Let's go say hi to Ollie. So Ollie is one of our Con+2 sponsors, one of our favourite people. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, not bad at all. I think I was in costume last time, so this is my face, this is my real face.
Yeah, and we're going to see more of Ollie later, back in costume, I imagine.
Actually, because I wrote it, well, Steve wrote it and then I've adapted it, I've given myself the less sweaty parts. So I'm going to let my actors really kind of do all the hard work, and I'm going to be doing the presenting part. So taking everyone through this adventure, because we are doing, if you follow me, we are doing House of Hell Live. Okay, so this is going to be, if you know, it's a notorious book really from kids. It's full of hideous creatures, human sacrifice, devil worship, an unusual children's book, to be honest with you, but it's lasted through the ages, so we've done what we can to kind of bring this to a live audience. Now, obviously, I don't want to say too much, but this will go out after it's been there. In the original story, someone breaks down their car, and they go to the typical haunted house.
Rocky.
Yeah, but what we're going to do is adapt it for about 45, 50 people. Making it immersive, making it inclusive. Everyone gets to go to actually experience part of that story. So some of the narratives that we have, the soundscapes, are straight out of the book. Some bits we have to adapt, and the actual mechanic is kind of my bit to make it all work. And I don't want to tell you, you're going to go and see it, so I don't want to tell you yet either.
We'll see more of that later in this video.
You're going to do an interview with yourself about the experience after you've done it.
Okay, thank you, Ollie. We'll speak to you later. All right, let's take a little view over here. Hi there, how are you and who are you?
Hello, I'm from Scholastic. We're the publishers of the Fighting Fantasy books.
That's awesome. So how's your show going today?
It's going very well, although we don't have all of Assassins of Alancia, which is very sad because that is the new and exciting book which is out on Thursday.
There is the special edition all the way over there.
There is the very special edition hardback, but we're just waiting for a few of the paperback for the people who like to complete this.
Okay, so that'll be coming out and presumably available online for everyone to buy.
On Thursday.
On Thursday, so you heard it here probably second by the time this goes out, so thank you very much.
I spotted something on the all rolled up stack that I want to take a closer look at, and this is apparently what you get when you get a university professor to design a dice tower. But this isn't just a dice tower. Oh no, look! It's also a dice carrier to get it to your games. But more than that, what I really like about this dice tower that you don't normally get, we're just gonna... My lovely assistant here is going to roll some dice. You notice down the length of the dice tower, we've got these ridges that actually force the dice to spin, and that is actually rather remarkable because most dice towers they just have the dice go straight through with nothing, just ramps with nothing on them. So we're getting science here on our dice towers at Fighting Fantasy Fest 3. So thank you very much, and I know you've lost your voice. So
thank you. It's nice seeing everybody.
Am I on famous TV now, or what is it?
It's a YouTube show that we run, and we're covering the convention here today. So we'll present you to our audience. So
present me.
Okay, so what's your name?
Chris.
Chris Akelios. Okay.
So you did all the fantasy fighting book covers.
Amazing.
Yeah.
One of my favourite pieces of art. This
You
one.
want to see more?
So you did quite a famous one, which is the dragon. Spell that one. There, the Host of Chaos. I think was featured on another game's book cover. Dragon Spell is one of his most famous images been used. And there's a few other ones which he hasn't actually published yet, but yeah, he's very prolific. White Dwarf, very much part of the 1970s fantasy movement. Achilleos.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you today. How's the show going? Very well, very well.
Yeah.
Till now.
I think that's our cue to leave.
Thank you very much.
Very well, thank you. So obviously another prolific artist for Fighting Fantasy. What's your name?
My name's Duncan Smith.
Duncan Smith. It's a pleasure to meet you, Duncan. How's your show going?
It's going great. It's lovely to meet all the people who are now grown up, all the kids that bought this stuff and everything, and finally seeing, firsthand. It's great. It's great fun. Just hearing how they used to, learn how to. Somebody's just told me they learned how to read using these Fighting Fantasy books and how to draw and stuff as well. It's brilliant. It's great fun. It's really good.
It's amazing. So, which, if I may ask, because I'm a little bit ignorant, which illustrations are yours?
These two here, Fighting Fantasy and Scorpion Swamp. These are the ones I did. So those were quite good fun to do. And these are the original drawings here for them all as well.
Now, my cameraman, who loves Fighting Fantasy, had a huge grin on his face there when those titles were mentioned.
Do you remember those ones, yeah?
Yeah.
They were good fun to do. The Scorpion Swamp was one of my favourites. The Fighting Fantasy one was more rigid and harder to work out because it was all rooms and things. But they're great fun to do. And just being here today, this is the first one I've done ever. It's really nice to, nice atmosphere and everything, and getting to see all these people, as I said, it's just brilliant. It's really good fun.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time, and all the best. Thank you. Hi there. Hello, how are you, and who are you?
Oh, I'm good. My name is Sarah. I'm here representing PSC Games. As you can see here from our fine loot boxes, I will move out all the litter so you can look at our produce.
Okay. So we've got the ancient warfare card game Milito.
We're predominantly based in wargaming, but we're moving out into different types of games. So this game here that you can see, Milito, designed by Martin Wallace, who's someone who's worked with us quite regularly. And we also have working on the Fighting Fantasy board game, which is why we've come in today to just kind of see what the fans think and what they'd like to kind of see in a Fighting Fantasy board game, which is coming in over onto Kickstarter next year. I've got to say, I like Fighting Fantasy. I've read a lot of it, but I'm just so amazed at like the kind of fan following here. You know, it's very
so
cool.
this is your sneak peek into the Fighting Fantasy board game coming out in 2020. Yeah.
Yep, we're going to take it to Kickstarter, and see how it goes. So far, there's been a lot of interest, a lot of excitement.
Thank you very much for showing us that today. Have a great show. How are you and who are you?
I'm Matt Spall. I'm from Branching Narrative, and this is my co-founder, Mark.
Hello, Mark. Hello. Okay, how's your show going, and what are we doing here? Because you've got tech.
Yeah, we've got telly. So it's going very well. This is the first time anybody anywhere in the world has seen this, apart from Death Note Dungeon, which is 35 years old as a game. But what we're doing is we're taking the original text of Death Note Dungeon from Ian's book, and then we're filming the whole thing as a video interactive talking gameplay. This is currently it's me. This won't be me. We're working with Eddie Marson, who's going to deliver it. Eddie Marson is from he's in Death Note 2, in the current Fast and Furious film. We're going to shoot with him next week. And essentially, what we've done here is we've just walked into the first, if you like, the first paragraph of Death Note Dungeon. I've reached a junction in the dungeon that's where there's a table. With a box with my name on it, so I can open that box or continue walking north. So if I choose to open the box,
the lid of the box lifts off easily. Inside you find 2 gold pieces and a note written on a small piece of parchment addressed to you. After placing the gold in your pocket, you read the message which says, "Well done. At least you now have the sense to stop and take advantage of the token aid given to you. Now."
Okay, so a little bit of a spoiler there, but that's going to be Eddie Marston, you say?
Yes, so Eddie Marston.
Awesome.
We're recording with Eddie next week, and then we're planning to release on PC, Mac, Apple devices, and Android devices this October.
That's amazing. So coming this October. So check it out when it arrives. And what have we got over here? We have something going on. Another firm with tech here. Let's see if we can squeeze in. It's going to be a little bit cheeky. Who are you and what are you doing here?
Right, my name's John Ingold. I'm the narrative director of Inkle. We're an independent game studio that makes narrative adventure games. We're here at Fighting Fantasy Fest because we adapted the Sorcery series by Steve Jackson into a multiple award-winning series of apps, games, kind of expanding and developing on the original books to make them super hyper responsive and interactive. But we've also made a ton of other games since then, so we're just sort of showing people what we've got.
Okay, so let's have a look at what you have got. So
Right.
there's all sorts of things here.
Yes, so this is a map from the original Sorcery game. You kind of explore the map as you go and it winds the story out as you explore that map and make your choices. This is art from our game 80 Days, which we did afterwards, which is an adaptation of Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days, but you can go around the world any way you like. By camel, hot air balloon, train, and have all sorts of adventures. You might get thrown off the Trans-Siberian Express or solve a murder mystery or
And there needs to be more love for Jules Verne. I think H.P. Lovecraft gets all the credit, but Verne's awesome.
That is so true. That is so true. And it's kind of, we wanted to do something that took Verne and made it better. So it's very much a post-colonial reading. Like it treats the world as a place full of human beings rather than exotic oddities. And it's warm and it's friendly and it's funny. And you can play it about 20 times and get different adventures the whole time. And there are some people who dearly love it. So we have posters from that, which I really like. And then we're showing off our latest thing, which only came out in April, which is called Heaven's Vault, which is a bit of a departure for us because it's a 3D game. It's an adventure game. It's an archaeological narrative adventure game with an entire hieroglyphic language to decipher across the course of the game. But just like all of our games, whatever you do, whatever you find, whatever you say, the story will branch and unravel itself in different directions. So it's unique for every player, every time you play.
That's amazing. That sounds really awesome.
And we love it.
Is that what's playing up on screen
Yes,
here?
exactly. So, it's a game about archaeology. You're exploring a strange nebula with an ancient history, with 5,000 years worth of history that you can discover from fragments. You find inscriptions and translate them to try and work out what's going on. And you put together your own history of the nebula as you uncover the secrets of it.
Really amazing. So thank you very much for taking the time to show us that today. Thank you. Okay, next guy is very busy with customers, so let's go on and see if we can... How are you doing?
Hello, how are we doing? Hi. Oh gosh.
We have. Yes, I do remember your faces. I'm afraid I
No, that's fine.
it was a definitely different T-shirt at the time, though, because I don't remember the orange.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. No, that I was obviously with my grey look. It was a long convention, so we had to have a lot of different T-shirts. So, this is Legendary Kingdoms. This is our multiple choice game book, and it's an open world game book. And you can choose from a group of 6 characters to be. So there's 3 men, 3 women. They've all got sort of, different abilities and skills. So essentially in this one, it's slightly different from most game books because you can do things in any order that you wish. So you're not stuck, in a single narrative. You choose what missions you want to do. So if you want to back the king, you can back the king. If you'd rather side with the revolutionaries, you can do that. There's a army system in it, so you can do mass combat with armies, and raise armies, sort of conquer cities. You can have your own ship and sail the world. And every book is a different part of the world. So this one is the Valley of Bones, but other books will cover other areas of our huge world map. So book 2 takes place in Longport Bay, which is a kind of a very medieval world. This kind of bit of land is quite like Conan, really. It's kind of full of barbarians and all kinds of lawlessness. And yes, so yeah, that's Legendary Kingdoms.
Thank you for showing us today.
No problem.
Awesome. Of course, the game that I really want.
You can even fall in love with each other in this one, and also.
I should probably do my promo for it. So, Elite Dangerous Path Cards releases in December. This is a game that got you very excited last year.
Yes.
It's been a really long road to get there, but we're very close now. We've got Elite Dangerous role-playing game is out at the moment. But you could just recycle that interview because I talked about it for ages. So I won't bore you with it now.
But I just love the fact that you took the initiative to change that convention in RPGs of everyone being on the same spaceship.
Yeah.
You said, no, that's wrong. And you're right, it is wrong, and it ruins games to do that.
It does.
And you fixed that for me, and all of my games go forward, and thank you.
No, you're extremely welcome. And but yeah, no, you all have your own spaceship in Elite Dangerous role-playing games. So yeah, you should buy that at once as well. Because it's I'm not.
It's quality writing. Quality writing. That's what
This is my biggest support, actually.
Financially.
Well, thank you, Oliver. Have a great show. Take care. You too. All right, let's see if we can go back and grab Andy. Oh my God, we just bumped into Andy from D&B Games. So obviously can't keep you from your stand for too long, but it's a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, and you? You guys are great.
Yeah, we're doing great. How's your show going?
Yeah, it's going well.
You're somewhere over there, are you?
Yeah, we're tucked out in the corner back there, but yeah,
we'll come and find you in just a minute. All right.
Yeah,
So
all right, see you guys later.
shortly. Okay, so here we have Steam Highway and write your own adventure stuff and all sorts of things, and a man in costume. Hello there. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm just starting my lunch.
I come across at the most inopportune moments for everyone. Okay, so what are we doing here today? So you've got this lovely steampunk-looking motorbike.
What a Vesty.
Right.
In my alternate history, there is no such invention as a motorbike, because of course this is pre-internal combustion. This is the 19th century and England as it really should be and should have been. The Ferguson Vela Steam is the fastest vehicle on His Majesty's Imperial roads. And you, as the reader and the steam highwayman, the hero of the story, are riding it throughout the woods and hills of Berkshire and Buckinghamshire, robbing the rich, giving to the poor, and steaming off into the night.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
So this is the book here, yeah?
Volume 1, the game book series, yeah. This is illustrated by Ben May, who designed the Vela Steam on the front, iconic image. And within the book, it's an open world game book adventure. So you can actually move around a map at will, choosing quests, making discoveries. Maybe you'll need to travel the other side of the map to find them, and that means that you'll make all sorts of discoveries and all sorts of distractions on the way. Yeah. Maybe you'll get knocked on the head and beaten up by a lady. Maybe you will join the fair as a rider on the Wall of Death. The sky's, well, not the sky's the limit. It just depends on your imagination, really. Maybe you'll join the gypsies and get some unique level ups by becoming their friend. Yeah.
That looks truly awesome, and I'm really loving your Velo Steam. So, thank you. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Let's have a look over here. What do we have here? So we have somebody with a definite artistic talent. So hello, who are you and how are you doing?
Hello, I'm Edward Riker. I'm from Canary Islands. I'm the writer and creator of Choose Cthulhu. It's classic choose your own adventure books adapting the works of H.P. Lovecraft. You can take the same decisions to reach the same ends at the main books, or take your own decisions and finally die horrible in another corner of the earth. I'm the writer and he's Elisa Mayer. He's our main illustrator and he's creating art for the people who is buying our bags here in England.
I have to say, these covers are very eye-catching. I mean, I'm just going to have to shake your hand because your artistic talent is amazing.
I don't know speak English.
He's going to speak English. Don't worry. He's a drawer. He works for food and water, and you don't need to talk to him.
Well, it's, these are definitely beautiful, beautiful covers. So
thank you very much. I hope you like it.
Yeah, so the premise is then that if you make the same choices as in the Cthulhu books, you'll get the same ending, but you can change H.P. Lovecraft history. Let's have a look over here. How are you doing today?
Very well, thanks.
So what are we doing here? This is a
This is a board game based on Brighton, which is from In the Grip of a Zombie Invasion, and this is my new game, Pauper's Ladder, which is coming out next month.
Okay, so what's going on here? Can you give us a very quick run through?
Okay, so the game takes a role of, you take the role of a pauper, so instead of having like the usual heroes like knights, bards and barbarians, so you just play regular characters like rat catchers, grave diggers, street cleaners and so on, and you have to achieve greatness by learning virtues. So you have a bird companion and the two of you have to go off in search of adventure and try and learn those virtues.
Okay, well, it looks absolutely wonderfully colourful, and I've nearly spilt most of it on the floor, so I'll just tidy that up and I'll disappear before I get caught. So thank you very much. We'll work our way back up this run, I think, because there's customers there. So let's start at this. Oh, this is all D&B games. So just I kind of want to stop talking and just look, but what my job is actually to come around here and have you talk. So. So, well, last time we spoke, we didn't actually have any of your beautiful scenery really to hand. So why don't we get the camera panning over the beautiful scenery, and I'll just I'll stand here and pretend that my job isn't actually to speak.
As the camera's panning over there, you've just gone past our dungeon set. That's our cabin set that you can see at the moment. We've started doing some bases to go with the various different tile sets that we do. There's a whole bunch of the Reaper minis that I've painted on the table there.
I have to say, this red brick set does, like, seeing it in the flesh, whenever I see this, I'm absolutely blown away, because this is, like, you know, I look at the dungeon and the cavern set, and it's, okay, that's classic Hearst Arts. I look at the red brick, and I just fall in love. I mean, it just...
Well, that's the start of our sewer set. So we'll be doing a whole bunch of red brick stuff that has, you know, all the channels and the resin water and all that sort of stuff in it. But that's just our little sneak preview of what's to come.
So that one has me truly excited. And I've just noticed here something I never noticed before. You've got a little Hobbit door here.
I've got a little Hobbit door, and one of the bedrooms for the inn has a little Hobbit door in it. Yeah, we couldn't get away without it. So.
Oh, that is really, really sweet. And then, of course, at the end here, we've got a set I really should get around to getting myself at some point in the future for sci-fi games. So, I mean, this is, as ever with D&B games, I mean, these are, incidentally, if you're looking to get into dungeons, start with D&B games. And the reason I say that is very important, all right? These are resin. These aren't the standard plaster cast that most people who get into dungeons use. Go resin, it lasts longer, it's durable, it doesn't break. Can I eat this on the floor?
You should be able to.
Right, on camera, right, this is the difference between resin and the plaster ones you normally get. He's actually let me do this. If that was plaster, that'd be in 2 or 3 pieces by now. And that is why you should go to D&B Games to get your first dungeon. Right.
You see, just before you disappear on us, see the barrel on the wall?
Oh, I.
Give it just a little poke.
All right.
Just give the side of that wall, next to the barrel, just give it a little poke.
What, just here?
Yeah, you might need to hold the top of it because it's...
Something's happening, I think. But I'm holding a microphone which is making it harder.
You might be holding it in place. Ready?
Boom! Ah, there we go.
Just a little secret. That's one of our new tiles. It's a secret door tile.
Oh, that's sweet.
So when it's against the floor, the barrel rests on the floor, so you can't see it.
That is really, really nice. I like it. Nice touch, because you don't really notice that. I know with the secret door, it's really obvious which one has the secret door. So that is really nicely done. Another great piece from D&B. Right, let's have a... Hello there. How are we doing?
I'm the Dark Lord, also known as Jamie Thompson.
And what are we doing here today at the show?
Well, we have been signing.
I'm recruiting goblin minions for my army of death.
Yeah, you will not get any sensible answers out of Jamie. We've
Wait,
been
I can't bear to be filmed in any way. I must put on my disguise.
We've been signing books at the moment because we're both authors. We've both written fighting fantasy game books. And this morning we gave a talk, question and answer session.
Yes. On how to buy our books. How to construct game books.
Yes. Which all went very well. And we've now run out of people with books to sign, so we're just sitting here we're looking up this. We're trying to find this book.
The Dice Man.
Workshop, the Dice Man, because we both worked at Games Workshop during those years, or at least during some of those years, 1975 to 1985.
I've been doing a lot of work putting together all of the old anecdotes from way back when. Because it starts with Ian and Steve with one shop in a van, because they couldn't afford to pay the shop rent and their house rent for 3 months they lived in a van. And now Games Workshop is like 400 and something shops all over the world, and it's worth 1 billion something.
They have done right for themselves, haven't they?
Yes. They're still not quite as powerful and evil as I am, but I don't know, maybe they are. Certainly richer. But one day we shall conquer even them and rule the world, and he will be my vampire minister.
Vampire minister?
Yes, well, you need to live for hundreds of years as our evil empire rules over Earth.
Yeah,
and you can be minister of, I don't know, propaganda, something, no, actual governance, because I'll actually need someone to do the real work of governing.
Well, I've been a tax inspector for the last 20 years,
yes.
So I think that's...
Of course, you'll be the collector of taxes and blood.
Collector of taxes and blood as your vampire minister.
Pay money, yes, of course. Already highly vampiric.
Can I ask what's going on here? Why are you asking this question? Why are you asking us all these questions?
I'm Becky from the YouTube channel Pair of Geeks. This is Jason. We both present Pair of Geeks, which is a YouTube show to a very small but loyal and loving audience who have just been introduced to you guys.
Okay, very good.
Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Who we are.
Yeah, of course they will. Yes, we're both famous.
In the world of geekdom, perhaps a little.
Geekdom,
yes. Soon we shall be known all over the world for our terrible tax collecting practices.
I thought I was famous, but you didn't know who I was. I'm even wearing the hat, so have a great day. Ta-ra. I think we have finished the hall, apart from the people we couldn't get to speak to. So that is my hall run-through of Fighting Fantasy Fest number 3, and we will see you almost certainly next year. And now I'm going to hand back over to Jason.
Yeah, really good. Very busy, but been a great response. Obviously got loads of creators, loads of games designers. We've got live theatrical shows for the first time. We've got Steve Jackson's House of Hell live, which apparently was amazing, the first showing. So there's a second one happening in a few minutes. And just lots of fans and lots of friends who've met at other conventions or online meet up and enjoy getting together every couple of years to talk fighting fantasy.
Indeed, and I know that you've upsized as well. And you do this sort of show every year, don't you? So tell me what I know you did. Was that something that kind of started this whole thing off?
I think it probably was from the book, but then the book came from Fighting Fantasy. So originally I pitched various ideas to Wizard Books for the 30th anniversary, and the last of which was a coffee table book about the history, and they said, great idea, far too expensive. But then the wonders of Kickstarter appeared in the UK, and we crowdfunded it. So then it became viable, and obviously we've done a second title since. But then in the process of writing the book, and so many people, I got so many contacts, and other people put me in contact with other artists and authors, editors, all sorts of people who've been involved with the franchise over the years, that it became, it would be a great way to celebrate it. So we did time it around the launch of the book and close to the original publication of Warlock. But yeah, so that was the first go at it, and it's obviously grown massively since then. So it's really now something we just try and do every couple of years to celebrate the whole fighting fantasy. I would say genre, but it's honest. But game books and everything linked to that.
What's your favourite part of the organising? Would you like to call it?
My favourite part of the organising is tomorrow morning when it's all done. But no, it's just great when you. For example, Duncan Smith was somebody I'd never met until today. So I'd interviewed him over email for You Are the Hero. And then, because it's the 35th anniversary of Scorpion Swamp and Fighting Fantasy, the introductory role-playing game, which he illustrated, and I asked if he'd like to come along, and he said yes. So it's fantastic. And I basically get to chat to an artist, and other people listen. But it's me really being a fanboy, because I remember Christmas Day 1983, I got given Scorpion Swamp. And I just remember just pouring through the book and just loving everything about it, including the illustrations. So yeah, I suppose it's that the fanboy in me meeting all the people who inspired me when I was 10 years old. Yeah, and that never gets old.
Anything that you can think of, anybody you want to get next year?
Well, see, I had my dream list, and I asked loads of people this time, and some couldn't come. So I have put a note saying possibly for Fighting Fantasy Fest 40. And I don't mean as in 40 years from, but as in I'd like to do it if we can, make it work for the 40th anniversary. So that'll be in 3 years' time. I suppose because there's various people here today who are either demoing or just previewing new games. Particularly there's a few board games coming out, so it'd be nice to see how those develop. And I know that Atlantis Miniatures are planning to do a Kickstarter to do more Fighting Fantasy miniatures, but possibly linked to a game as well. So depending on how that grows, it might be nice to make more of a feature of that. I wouldn't ever claim to do something like a tournament, but there might be something where we can have some sort of gaming system going on. I suppose that would be nice. But yeah, really just more of the same. So. Well, there are a few talks I go to because I sort of need to, but then obviously the fanboy in me loves that as well. So, but also I did just sit on Rob Ball's talk, which was about half an hour, just for a break, and to see his artwork. And I love hearing creative people talking about their creativity and their process, and just all the illustrations he's done, all the backstory, which has all come from him, clues in the artwork, little visual jokes. I mean, it's fantastic. I love all that.
Thanks very much. So in there is, I'm assuming, turnaround and extra preparations for the next House of Hell session, which is done by one of our sponsors, Ollie, of the Weirding Woods, and he's actually asked us profusely to film in there, which is fantastic. So, yeah, we have no idea how it's going to go. Hello. Looking very shifty. I'm not sure who that was, but we'll see how it goes.
Good evening, everyone. Please settle yourselves down. Turn off your electrical devices and make yourselves as comfortable as possible. Prepare yourselves to open your minds for a night of suspense, mystery, and horror. You have all been specially selected to be involved in a very special experiment into the art of paranormal channeling, time manipulation, and advanced hypnotic state. If you are of a nervous disposition or have a weak heart, please make your excuses and leave now. Very good. Now, let us begin.
What's your name? Andy, it's not Andy, it's Bruce. I've known you for many years. Your name? Benjamin, I know you. I know you too. Now we've all travelled here, this is the side of the unexplained, the unnatural, unexplored. Year is 1984.
Hello!
Ah!
Hello!
Timothy, is that you?
Oh!
I have bread here for you.
Oh, goodness! I found you! Just in time! The Society of the Earth, is that correct?
That is right. Come on in, come on in.
Oh, look! Stop! Oh.
I think they're all just getting their senses together at the moment. They might be a little bit disorientated for a while. It will pass.
From the future, yes.
From the future, yes. Shout it out to loudly. It's a secret society after all.
Yes, of course.
So how can we help you, Timothy?
Oh, you see, something very disturbing has happened.
Now, the place you're standing is very special. Not only is this society their own, but we have on the floor here a portal, an astral portal. Now, what we can do, we can take you through into whatever place we need to go. And we may need to go back in time. We may go in the present time, your time, or my time. So, the way it works, I need 5 volunteers. Those who like to transcend and transfer themselves. Yes. Yes, one over here, 1 here. 2 over there. Excellent. 3 from this side. 4, 5. Come stand over here. Now notice there are markings. Stand in those, please.
At the end of the corridor ahead of you is a stout wooden door. While you are considering whether or not to try this room, a noise behind you startles you. You spin round only to find that the wind is rustling wall hangings. There is nothing to be afraid of. You turn back and are amazed to find a faint white figure has appeared in front of you. This apparition is of a woman with long flowing hair, dressed in a white nightdress which has seen better days. She beckons you to follow her. She passes right through the door. You follow, but by using more traditional methods of turning the handle. You have entered an old bedchamber.
I found you! I found you! Thank God! I found you! Your coming here is no accident! This house is ruled by the Master, a dark priest of the night. He will mean to sacrifice you to the demons